Good evening, folks, and welcome back to the second episode of season 3 of A Whole Pack of Wolves podcast presented by Greenville Sports Media. If you need your media news, go ahead and go to our website at greenvillesportsmedia.com as well. We are tonight, though, Colby, we're going to be doing our Duke and North Carolina State preview for Saturday's game. We're also going to be reviewing last week's game and looking at some of the key players, score predictions, and then we've also got our 5 games of the week. So last week, let's hit it. Last week, just give us your initial impression, Colby, as we talked about our keys last week, and just tell us what you think from that game at Wake Forest on Thursday.
Well, you and I were both there. So we got to see this game up in person. I felt like this game had a lot of mixed feelings, especially in the first quarter.
Mm-hmm.
You look up at the score and it's 14-14 still in the first quarter. And I want to say it was like at the 4-minute mark. I looked at it, I was just like, wow, this is gonna be a game. Um, Wake returns the opening kickoff for
Yeah,
a score by Mr.
Devin Hester
Barnes.
vibes on that.
Yeah. If you're OG State fan, you'll understand the Devin Hester
Reference there.
reference there. But yeah, so Barnes returns the opening kickoff for a touchdown. And then after that, State puts Wake in a good field position, and Wake scores with Damon Claiborne. And then after that, it just seemed like, what's State gonna do? What's gonna happen? What are we gonna do? We weren't
Yeah.
we did the one key that I was telling everybody: do not beat yourself in Winston. Do not beat yourself.
Yep.
So we then beat Wake 34-24. Um, but how it started was a big man pick six by Isaiah Shirley. Loved every single bit of it. Felt like it was a well needed jolt to the offense. And so you look at the score 14-14, go into the halftime 24-14 Wake, and then you come out with a 34-24 win for State. So I think what I saw is really, really attacked the air. I feel like CJ was kind of throwing all over them. We were also able to run the ball pretty well. Hollywood had a very nice day. Um, and I just feel like just certain things went our way more in the second half than the first half. Uh, our offense couldn't really get much going in the first half, but the second half was much better. And I feel like with what we talked about last week, I really just said, you know, let CJ Bailey go out there and play. Let Hollywood take as much carries as possible. Get Justin and Jolie involved. And yes, he did. He got 2
Yep.
touchdowns on the day. So I felt really good about the win overall. It just needs to. I feel like the defense, really kind of. It was lackluster in the first half, but the second half was much better. So with the defense having 3 turnovers on the day and a sack, I feel like that was very productive for the defense overall. But I would like to see a full game defense out of the team, especially with going in to play Duke this coming week.
Absolutely. Kind of same story, different week. NC State's defense starts out slow in the first half. State gets behind, forced to throw the football to play catch up, and then ultimately they run out the game with Hollywood Smothers and that dominant offensive line. What an absolute stud of a day from Hollywood. I mean, that was like watching, a hot knife through butter for him in the second half. He had 164 yards rushing on 24 carries. And I think State just did a great job of sticking to the same game plan they've had. 5 out of the last 8 games for them, they've had rushing yards over 200 yards on the ground. I thought they did another great job of opening up holes for Hollywood, and then Hollywood did what he's doing all season, which is really getting those yards after contact. He's really been a phenomenal rusher when he's taken that first hit and continuing to stay on his feet. So, we went into this game last week talking about, the key for NC State's defense was shutting down Claiborne. That actually happened. We were very impressed with that in the second half, especially for NC State's run defense that really put Ashford in a box for them. And unfortunately for Wake, they just were not able to get anything going on the ground. So kudos to the NC State defensive coaching staff for making the adjustments they needed to at the half. I thought NC State did a phenomenal job of just managing this football game. Like you said, we talked about it last week. Don't beat yourself, and they didn't. So Ashford makes the one key crucial mistake with the pick six to Shirley. He earns Defensive Player of the Week in the ACC. So really could not have that turnover come at a better time for NC State with them down 14-7 and really having some momentum in Wake's favor with the opening kickoff for the touchdown. So really nice to see NC State rebound again for the second week in a row. They've done that consistently now, and it's like I said, I was telling our friends over at Locked On that I could write the same story for 2 different weeks. State gets behind early, and then they take a second half comeback. So really impressed so far, though, with our offensive line and the protection they gave CJ. I thought he did a really nice job of managing the game and did make the crucial mistake. So ultimately, that's what helped help the offense. I shouldn't say for that, but they really had a phenomenally great balanced attack and have been really balanced all year. So really good to see Justin Jolie get involved as well. He had the 2 touchdown catches that were really important as a part of their offense. So really looking forward, though, to another tough game on the road in Durham. This will be NC State's air quote third ACC game in a row, even though UVA doesn't count.
Yeah.
This one, Colby, when I was looking at this one, we're going to kind of go right into our offensive keys, and I'm going to kind of let you start out with what you think are going to be this week's offensive keys for the NC State offense, and then we're going to talk about Duke for a little bit as well.
Okay. So the offensive keys that I feel like State needs to win this game, I think also just going in and not beating yourself. I'm going to preach that with the, big four opponents that we have. I'm going to do the same with UNC at the end of the season. It's just don't go in and beat yourself. With Wake and Duke, it seems like we kind of tend to do that. And so I want us to go in and kind of just, hey, show Duke, hey, I'm tired of losing to you. I'm tired of it. I want to come and
Yeah.
beat you. And so let's just come out with a I'm gonna hit you in the mouth kind of attitude. Like the kids say, BTA. Just come in with a good attitude on offense and defense too. The next offensive key is making sure that we run the ball well. Duke has not defended the run very well. Uh, they have really kind of struggled with the run
Mhm.
defense, and it just seems like that would be something if State can get it going, it would
Mhm.
be really important for us to win this game. And then the last key I would say is try to get everybody involved. I mean, if we spread the offense around and, you hit Jolie for some targets, you hit Noah Rogers for some targets, you hit Keenan Jackson, and so on and so on, maybe Hollywood as well. You get people involved. I feel like Duke's not going to know what to do. Duke also has a very, I would say, the secondary is becoming a point of there's some good veteran presence there, but there is also some presence of some young players with kind of like I would say that they're just getting exposed a lot within these games. So I'd say State needs to take advantage of that and spread the offense around, trying to make sure have like a everybody eats mentality.
I like that.
Yeah.
So my three, when I was looking in and doing research on this game, I mean, Duke is a very pass-heavy offense, and my first key for NC State, which typically has been so far a little bit of a weakness for them, has been their secondary. So my first key this week was to keep Mensa in the box, keep him with some really short throws, and don't really let him beat you over the top because he's been really explosive. He's got 8 touchdown passes so far this year. He's got almost over 1,000 yards already in his first 3 games. So clearly Duke's passing game is working very well for them right now. And if NC State wants to win this game, they are going to have to keep that in check. And that was what I noticed the first. The second thing is Duke's third down efficiency has really been really solid on offense. They're up over 45% on third down and 40% on fourth down. So my second key was keep Duke in third and long. Keep them in situations where there's passing downs and you can expect, NC State to be able to get a little bit of pressure. I know that we're going to be without one of our key defenders for the first half, but I still think as a whole, NC State's done a much better job of getting pressure on the quarterback this year than they did last year. So that was my key, was to get Duke off the field on third down. When you have the opportunity to get that high-powered offense off the field, get them off the field. And my last one was going to be, for NC State, like you said, win the turnover battle. Duke is one of the dead last in the country, if I'm not mistaken, in turnover battle right now. They're -6 on the season. So they're averaging about, at this point, they had 5 turnovers against Illinois. So they're averaging 2 turnovers more than their opponents in their 3 games. So key again, NC State, don't beat yourself. Go in there, protect the football, and use what you have because Hollywood's a heck of a runner. So, keep Duke's offense off the field and maintain that time of possession and win the turnover battle. And you probably come out of Durham with a win on this one. So those were my 3 keys. I think we will revisit those again next week as we take a look back. But I really felt like our keys last week, Colby, were pretty much spot on, in this one. And we'll look to see how close are we again this week. So I'm going to let you talk a little bit about NC State's key offensive players for them, and then we'll give mine, and then we're going to go talk Duke for a little bit.
Offensive players. I mean, I just gotta give my boy props. CJ Bailey, go out there and show the world. I saw a TikTok recently that was a guy who ranks the quarterbacks for college football, and he ranked CJ Bailey very high. I don't know what the exact number was, but he had him, I think, in his top 15. So I would say, CJ, go out there and show people that you're a top 15 quarterback in college football. I mean, you're miles ahead of what you were last year.
Mm-hmm.
Go show those people some more. And then my other key player is Hollywood Smothers. Run the ball down their throat. I mean,
Yeah.
if they can't stop you, keep running it. Keep going. I mean, I don't care if we put up 40, 50, 60, 70. I would love to see a 70 burger on Duke. That would be
Yeah.
great. And then I would
Absolutely.
say my last and third key player, I'm going to give some love to my man, Justin Jolie. Justin, if you're watching this, love you. So glad to have seen you score some touchdowns in the last game. I want to see you score some more. And please, if you're near the first down marker, please do not get pulled down at close to like the 1 inch mark. I, I I need you to bull rush everybody. I need you to ball out. I need you to go and try and have a breakout game again. I need you to show people that you're a top pick when it comes to a tight end. And so those are my key players, Justin.
I like it. I'm going with a unit this week. Typically, I don't try to go units, but I think the road graders up front, I'm giving them love this week because they have really been opening up some holes for Hollywood, and I think NC State really needs to have that offensive line continue to impress. They've really been good as far as getting guys off the block and really getting downfield as well. So I wanted to go with them, and I want to also give a shout out to Cody Hardy this week too, because he is another key component of that running game. And Coach Doran talked about him in the press conference this week. People are kind of underrating him; they're not really seeing the impact that he's having in the running game, and I really think he has been a huge part of their success at running the football this year. And I think that's going to be another key for NC State this week is to really continue to keep Duke's offense off the field and continue to showcase Hollywood. He had 24 carries last week. I'd like to see at least another 24 this week. Him and Duke Scott did a really great job last week of sharing carries. So I'd like to see that again this week for them. So, Colby, I know we're going to talk a little bit of Duke now. So, when I was doing a little bit of research on them, I mean, clearly their standout is going to be Mensa at quarterback. I mean, he's really impressive on film. Has really taken a key to Duke's offense. I mean, like we mentioned earlier, a little over 1,000 yards passing, 8 touchdowns. Has only thrown 2 interceptions as well. Doesn't really run the football much, but he's been really key as far as getting their offense going. So I really, as I was preparing for this one, I really was kind of keying in on him as well. And that was, he's obviously the one who continues to make that Duke offense go. So I'm going to let you talk a little bit about who do you think is going to be a key player for Duke this week on their offense as well.
You picked the guy who I was kind of going with. I mean, Mensa. I mean, he's basically the top story for Duke this offseason, getting paid a huge NIL deal to come play for Duke, stolen
Yeah,
from the Green Wave of Tulane, who they lost to.
yeah.
And
Oddly
it's
enough,
just it's just that he's very interesting. I can't. Is it the Sherwood that's the running
Shep,
back?
Shepard. Yeah, he's really
Shepherd.
good. Nate Shepard's really good too. So
Yeah, he was another guy that I was also a little bit on as well. I think
yeah,
he's a beast.
yeah, yeah,
If he can get going too, it's going to be a long day for state. We have not done well with solid running backs. I mean, Jamari Taylor went all over us, and
yeah,
I mean we did stop Damon Claiborne. I will say we held him to a decent rushing day, but I think if Jamari Taylor had a career day, I mean, Shepard could come in and do well as well.
yeah.
Another guy who's on their defense, Chauncey Rivers.
Hmm.
I think he's also a big difference maker. He's just one of those guys that's a NFL talent, and I think we need to just try and not allow him to get to CJ or get to anyone. Period. I mean, he's a difference maker. He's an NFL talent. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's tough when you're looking down the stat line. I mean, Shepard's averaging 8.5 yards a carry. So I mean, clearly he's going to be the guy that you have to make sure that you're aware of. And then Cooper Barkade's been amazing too for them.
he's
He's got
good. Yeah.
14 catches already for 272 yards for them. So he's averaging almost
Yeah.
20 yards a carry, or I mean a catch. So yeah, those were another few players that for you NC State fans, those are the guys you need to keep an eye on as we enter into week 4. So ultimately, Colby, I mean, that kind of takes care of our offense. You hit a little bit on Duke's defense, so I want you to hit a little bit on NC State's defense. Who do you think is going to be your keys for the NC State defense this week?
So I'll just do my key players, but then my last key is going to be a unit specifically. Key player, I need to see a lot more from Caden Fordham. Um, I need him to be the number one jersey. Show me that he really earned that jersey. I just need to see a little bit more from him. He's great tackler. He's our leading tackler basically,
Mm-hmm.
and I think he's great as well. The person I need to see go out and ball out, because I saw that he earned a starting spot, Brody Bonhart. I need
Mm-hmm.
him to come out and show me why he earned that spot. Because if he's earned a starting spot, hey, go out, come and show me why you earned it. Because I want to see why. I want to see what this kid's got. I really am going to be looking for him. He seems like he was a great player out there for against Wake, and
Yeah,
I just I I was very shocked that he's starting. And then the unit I'm gonna go with is D line. I need our D line
okay.
to shred Duke's offensive line. I think somebody was saying it earlier. I believe it was our friends at Locked On. We're saying that Duke's offensive line is not very good. They are they're prone to be getting up some sacks, and which Mensa has fumbled a couple times.
Yep.
And also their running backs have fumbled as well. So their offensive line, if you get to them, I mean, it could be a really tough day for Duke. And so I think our defensive line needs to just cause chaos, make sure that they, get to Mensa and hey, get some sacks, get some interceptions, have a day. I want the
Yeah.
defense to come out and punch him in the mouth. Like I said, BTA.
Yeah. I totally echo that. I mean, my whole keys for this week, for NC State's defense, we talked about it a little bit earlier, but maintain, contain on Mensa. Make him become a decision maker and not just a passer. And like you said, I mean, the only way that you can really rattle a quarterback who's really hot is to get pressure. And ultimately, NC State's going to have to find different ways and give him different looks so that he, doesn't necessarily keep the same eyes on the same rushers. I think that's been a really key for Elliott this year, for Coach DJ Elliott and his unit. They've really brought a lot of different pressures. They really like to bring stuff off the edge, and so that was my key for NC State this week was to contain Mensa. And then the other part of that comes into play too. I think the back end, which was my second key, you hit on Brody Barnhart. I mean, congratulations to him too. And that unit, with him being a redshirt freshman, is probably going to get picked on. So my second key was the secondary. So NC State secondary has to get um, lock those things down and make the tackles, because that's been the biggest issue we've kind of seen so far with NC State on defense. Is sometimes they get a little out of position, and sometimes the tackles don't always get made. So that was going to be my second key. And then my third key this week was going to be for defense for NC State again, is get the ball on the ground. As you talked about earlier, Duke has been very fumble prone, especially in the Illinois game. So I think if NC State can find ways to force, punch the ball out, get that field position, I think they're going to have a really good chance to win this football game. So, and then my keys, player wise, I just mentioned it, but the secondary is going to be my unit this week, and I'm going to specifically kind of target one of the newer guys I've been very impressed with, and that's Ronnie Royal. We kind of called out Sean Brown last week, and then he made me feel bad because he came out and just straight up balled out, and that's what we told him we needed to do.
Yeah.
Well, Ronnie Royal, this week is your week. So I'm going to need you to go ahead and make another big play. You've already made one. So I'm going to need you to go ahead and step up and shine this week as well. And that secondary is young, but they're talented, Colby. And like you said, they've got a lot of future ahead of them. So it's going to be really fun to see this team. So those were going to be my defensive keys. And then, Colby, what do you think is going to be the key for Duke to control NC State's offense. NC State's offense has been super efficient so far their first 3 weeks.
Well, I gotta think like a Dookie.
It's hard, right?
It's hard, yeah. uh, well, I would say, stop State's run game. If you stop State's run game, I mean they're gonna have to pass on you. And I do think Chauncey Rivers is a very good player, and
Yeah.
he's gonna get CJ one of them. He's gonna get one of them. So I think if you make CJ a passer, you take away Hollywood. I think that's a big, big, huge thing. And you
Mhm.
also, if you get to CJ, sack him, you make him fumble, or you hurt him. I think
Yeah.
that's also something that's big. Please don't do that. But
Yeah.
knock on wood. But
Mhm.
and then maybe just make State get in their head. I just think that's what's Duke's mantra. Or whether it be away or at home, like just get in the other team's head. You're Duke, like you're the bad guy basically of the ACC. Like, come on, be the villain basically.
I like it. Well, Colby, we're going to get to our predictions here in a minute, but we got 5 games that we picked this week as well. We did a really fantastic job last week. Most of us did a really good job picking Georgia Tech over Clemson, so shout out to our crew for doing that.
Go
Last
Jackets.
week's yeah, last week's games were kind of pretty straightforward. Wasn't really a ton of big games, but we've got a few big games this week, and ultimately one of them is going to be the same team we talked about last week with Miami and South Florida. Some of us, I'm not really naming names, it's me, by the way, decided they were going with South Florida. So last week. So Colby, does Miami get it done again this week against Florida, or are they going to end up suffering to the Gators?
Um, I personally think that Miami's a good squad, but I don't know. I don't think Billy Napier wants to get fired quite yet. And in my opinion, the law of average is Mario Cristobal is bound to have one loss where you're just like, give me the
Yeah.
Gators. Give me the Gators. Gators
All right.
are going to
All
go
right.
upset.
Miami. I totally agree with you on your point about Cristobal. I just don't think it's this week. I'm gonna say that they are gonna reserve that for when the Yellow Jackets come and take a little bite out of Miami. So I'm gonna take the Hurricanes. I think Florida's in a little bit of disarray right now. I think Miami's offensive line has proven to be really, really good so far, and I like them at home this week. So that's a nice little split for us. We'll have to see who picks it up in the standings. Is it going to be Colby picking up a game on me, or are we going to pick up a game on Colby after that South Florida pick for me last week?
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I think I picked Miami. So,
yeah, you did. That's why I said I got to try to pick up a game. So yeah. So me and Dean took South Florida, unfortunately, and it came back to bite us a little bit because Byron Brown just did not play very well last week. So
yeah.
shout out to Miami's defense for making me look bad last week. I wasn't a true believer, but I think they get it done this week.
Yeah.
So Indiana, Illinois is going to be our next one, Colby. This is 9 against 19. This one's a really good football game. Both teams super high-powered offenses. We've seen Illinois against Duke. We've seen Indiana playing really well over the last 3 weeks as well. This one's tough. Who are you going to take? I think it's going to be a shootout.
What do I want to do? Give me the Hoosiers. Give me the Hoosiers. It was
All
always going to be
right.
the Hoosiers.
Yeah, one of my
Give me
favorite all-time
Indiana.
movies, by the way, Hoosiers.
Yes.
But after watching Illinois last week or 2 weeks ago, sorry, against Duke, I'm going to take Illinois in this
Wow,
game.
split
Um,
again.
I,
Wow.
I, yeah, I think they are for real. So I didn't believe in them early in the season, but their last 3 weeks are really showing me how good their offense is.
Okay.
So we're split on that. This next one we'll see. We're going to Southeastern Conference territory. We're going Oklahoma and Auburn. Auburn's surprising some people. Oklahoma surprising some people. So who's going to be the surprise this week?
I like John Mateer too much, so I'm gonna go with Boomer Sooner.
I like it. Very easy pick. Colby and I are with these together on this. You know, a good friend of the program is going to really like this pick because he is not an Auburn fan. So Oklahoma, and give me
Love you,
Oklahoma.
Josh.
Yep, Oklahoma. I think is really good defensively. Brent Venables' defense is finally showing up, and I think they get it done. So another really important game in the Big Ten. We're going Michigan, and then we're going Nebraska. So this one is in Nebraska. So Colby, does Michigan rebound or is Nebraska for real?
Give me the Huskers. Give me the Huskers. You know what? Even though there's all nothing but corn in Nebraska, give me the Huskers.
Man,
I
as a
think Michigan
Panther,
is not as good.
yeah, as a Panthers fan, you know it's hard going with Matt Rule after the tough seasons we've had. But you
Yeah.
know what? Colby and I are together on this one again. I am taking Nebraska as well because Matt Rule is a much better college football coach than he is an
Yeah.
NFL coach.
Yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
I'm going to take Nebraska. And then another one of our really good friends of the program was on our show a lot last year. She's going to love this pick, and there was a reason that we picked it. So Texas Tech and Utah. I saved the best for last, Cole.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Savannah. Oh, you're gonna hate me. But I'm taking the Utes because guess what? There's only
Nice.
one team in Utah, and that is the good old Utes. I almost said the Red Roots, but the Utes. I got the Utes. I also
I
I also
like it.
hate Texas Tech, so let's go Utes.
Yeah. I'm going to pull this quote from my favorite movie, Colby, and you're going to like it. You may not remember because I'm OG, but if you've ever seen my boy Joe Pesci, and he always asked, what is a Ute?" So
Yeah.
in the South, for those who don't understand, a Ute is another word for youth. So it's a young person. But in Utah, it is a tribal word. So Savannah, I am sorry again this week. I am going with Utah again. So that is going to be another tough one for Texas Tech, but I do like Utah at home on that one. So Colby, we've gotten through everything. We've done offensive keys. We've talked key players. It's now time for us to go ahead and do our predictions. We swept across the board last week. All of us took NC State against Wake. So does NC State get it done on the road again? Duke is a 3.5 point favorite at home, which basically tells you that this is a complete toss-up game. FPI has it at NC State at 50.5. Duke 49.5 with their win. So Duke's won 4 of 5. So Colby, does NC State swing the momentum back this week, or is it another dark day in Durham?
Hmm. You know what? I'm gonna let you do your score because
All
I
right.
have something in store for us.
All right. Colby's got a little bit of a surprise for us. All right. I'm gonna say that NC State is going to have a really tough day. In Durham, it is going to be a fight to the fourth quarter. But I also love the resiliency of this team, especially in the second half. And I'm going to say that there's going to be a key turnover in the second half in this game that's going to lead to the NC State Wolfpack getting a win in Durham. And my prediction is going to be 31-28 NC State.
Well, he's no longer on the college football show, but I have a very soft spot for Lee Corso. And he always did this thing where when he picks a team, he puts their hat on.
Oh, I like it. Colby with the surprise headgear pick of the week.
Give
I
me the
love it.
pack. Give me the pack. And let's go. I'm thinking, I'm thinking it's going to be a score of 30-17.
I like it.
NC State.
I
Give me the
love it.
pack.
Colby's breaking out the headgear for week 3. So I love that. All right, folks, there you have it. The Whole Pack of Wolves crew is taking NC State against Duke. So far, so good. Colby, we've picked NC State 3 weeks in a row. So far, they've made us look good. So we will revisit it again next week. Hopefully, we're still undefeated as a crew. So thank you guys so much for joining. Again, this is our episode for week 4 for Duke NC State. Colby, I'm going to let you take us out this week, as always, good sir.
As always. And, you see, peep it. Go Wolfpack.
I